My name is Glenn Viana, and I'm Principal Software Developer at Entrust. I'm here to go over the Red Hat OpenShift Cloud integration. Image deployment control policy is going to control how images can be deployed into a Kubernetes cluster, OpenShift cluster. So it's pretty much going to set up rules that's going to define what registries can be used, what you can go down to what image, what version of an image you can use, and other things like this. So I'm going to show you how to create so we're going to go into security. Again, trust manifest. And to create one, you're going to do the plus sign here on the right. You're going to give a name. Give it a description. The policy type is going to be deployment control. And here you're going to have two sections, pretty much a private registry section and a public registry section. On the private registry section, are going to be the rules that related to your private registries in CloudControl, the ones that you onboarded in CloudControl. So you're gonna select the registry here. I have the one I have here, and then you're gonna we have these different rules that you can use. There is a signature rule, there is an attribute rule, there is a vulnerability rule. So you can either use either one of these rules. Look there, enable, you can enable, disable them accordingly to what you want to do. So on the attribute rule, you can say, this is my rule. And you can start, there is an exemption list, a white list, and a black list, right? So you can enable the exemption list, and you can do image ID or image name, and then you can put a regex here, and the same thing for the tag. The same thing you can do for the whitelist. Okay, you can select the ID or name, and so on. So that's how you define your rule. There is a vulnerabilities rule also here that is based on the number of vulnerabilities that the image has. So you can also deploy a control policy that says, I'm not going to allow any image with vulnerabilities to be deployed, or can only have 30 low vulnerabilities and things like that. And that's applicable to your internal registry images. Now there is also the public registries, which you can enforce here what public registries you want people to use. So if people try to use an image from a registry that's not defined here, the image won't be deployed. And we strongly suggest for this to be enabled, and you just create the exceptions here for the registries that you want to allow. So that's how you create a trust manifest. I'm going to go over some examples. That way we can you can see how it works and see how we can enforce some rules as far as image deployment is concerned. Now let's look at modifying our deployment control policies. So instead of allowing all images from the private registry, right, we're only going to allow an image that has a specific name, for instance. So I'm going to modify the rule here. So I'm here on my policy, right? And I'm going to modify the private registry section, and I'm going to enable the attribute rule. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable the exemption list. So if you look in here, anything CVV test latest will be allowed. And I'll do a white list of CV star here. So deny or no match. So if the image does not start with CV CV-star is denied. So CV test will be allowed, and anything that does not start with CV star will be denied. Okay. And I'm still leaving tutum here on my public registry. So these are the changes that I'm applying to the previous example. So this is, instead of allowing everything now from the private registry is only gonna allow a CV test image, and is gonna deny anything that doesn't match CV-star. So I'm gonna validate and apply. Okay, so we apply our rule. Now I want to look also at our private registry. So let's look at the inventory here, image registries. Okay, and I want to show access the images here on our registry, and you can see the name of the images here, right? So I have a bunch of CV- images here that you can see, and I have other things in here that I can try to use. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to deploy this BusyBox image that's sitting on the registry, okay? And let's see what happens. According to our policy, it should be denied because it's not CV test and it doesn't start with CV-star. So I'm gonna go back to my shell here, and here's my YAML file, okay? That has the BusyBox image, and you can see here that is using the BusyBox image from the private registry. So I'm gonna try to create this pod. It should deny. Okay. Now if I try the CV test image again, well, I'm gonna try the CV test image again, and it should go through. And I can deploy the image because it matches the rule. So that's another way of being more hard on the private registry, where you can select the images that you want to deploy from the private registry. This is a good case scenario. So let's say you have production images, you have development images, and you have using a naming scheme that allows you to pick those images. So, for instance, not allowing any development images to be deployed on a production environment, for instance, things like that. So that's another scenario here that you can see how we can use image deployment control policy to better secure the deployment of images in your organization. Well, this is the end of our presentation. I want to thank you for watching. We have an integration guide for this presentation. It's available on our documentation site. I hope what we showed here can give you some clues of what CloudControl can do with Red Hat OpenShift and how you can use it to implement policies. Thank you again, and have a great day.